Mark Applegarth, head coach, York Knights.
Mark, just starting off, now you've had a bit of time to sort of process
Mhm.
the defeat. I know we spoke afterwards and it was still fairly raw. How do you reflect on
Yeah.
that 50-4 defeat at Oldham?
A good lesson for us, if I'm perfectly honest with you. I thought Oldham were really clinical in how they went about the game plan. It's fair to say that we didn't quite hit the standards that we want. In saying that, I still felt, I thought we started really poor. I think we knocked on first set and they scored off the back of that. But I thought if we could have gone in at half time at 18-4, I still felt he were there for the taking, and even with that little scruffy kick that went through just before half time at 24-4, I believe, I still felt we'll get a response and we could play. But yeah, I think them two tries just after half time really saw us off in terms of getting the result, and it was an interesting game to see how we responded to a bit of adversity. I think we'd had a 2-3 week period where things had gone our way. I know we got a bit of a touch up in that second half versus KR, but it was good to come up against some adversity and see how we dealt with that. So we'll need to respond this week. We're nowhere near the standard that we want to set for ourselves. I don't need to keep on harping home about how disappointed we are. The lads were pretty honest in the review with each other and pretty brutal with each other. So we'll see a response on Sunday in what's another tough game against Toulouse.
Do you see it as anything that needs essentially addressing, or was it down to mistakes, the penalties, the knock-ons? Was it just a bit of kind of individual error? Is that what you put it down to, or is there something deeper and
Um,
wider to look at?
no, it's a bit of everything. I don't think, obviously individuals made errors within that, but we play a team sport, and we need to make sure that we address it as a team. Obviously, them individuals know themselves and they took account for that, but I'm definitely not going to single out one or two people. It's all of us, including myself. First thing I looked at is have we got his game plan right? Um, but yeah, little things like I thought his root control were pretty loose. Which didn't help with his connections on the edge. There were some one-on-one misses that obviously added up. There were some pretty sloppy handling errors. I think we give 10 penalties away when we've been averaging 4 penalties. Um, I think we came up with 10 handling errors or something around there. So, it just all points to a very ill-disciplined performance. And if you're trying to take a positive out of it, then hopefully it's a lesson learned and a good refocus for us going into what's going to be another tough game on Sunday.
Just looking at your team news selection, then
Yeah.
what's the latest on Liam Harris? I know he took a knock to the head. Is he ruled out?
Yeah. Yeah, Liam's got to be ruled out for this week with a Category 1 head knock. So I think it's 12 days, if I remember rightly. So we'll, all being well, he's progressing well. He seems fine now. And as long as he passes all his protocols, he should be available for next week.
And any concerns about Paul McShane, or was that not as serious as Liam's?
No, Paul passed his head test in the first half. So he's fine. Yeah, he's chomping at the bit to get back out there. So, yeah, he'll be available this week, and it's just a case of next man up. The good thing is, we're in round one. It's fair to say we didn't start how we wanted, but if we have got a couple of bodies out, it's a good chance for us to step in and take their opportunity to showcase what they can do for the team as well.
So if Paul's okay, do you look to move him to scrum half in place of Liam Harris? I know you've also got options to bring in Taylor Pemberton and Sam Cook at the hooker position. Is that something that you're looking at?
Yeah, we've got a few options. We'll have a play around, and you'll find out come Sunday, will you?
I'm not trying to preempt the team news. It's just you've got plenty of depth. It is, I guess, the one thing with this team this year. And then obviously, as you said, you've got kind of strength and depth. Hopefully, having the one man out shouldn't make too much of a difference. Although Liam Harris is one of your key players.
Yeah, Liam's his captain, and he's a leader. So obviously, you'd want Liam in your team, but. Yeah, as I said, a couple of bodies out on the sideline. It's a great opportunity for us to step up and take their opportunity. I've got full faith in whoever we do put up, and the main thing for me this week is we get a response. I expect us to be, running harder, tackling harder, and working harder than his opposition. And I thought on Sunday there were effort there as an individual, but not effort there as a team. I think we got a bit tunnel minded, and people were we're trying to solve things by themselves instead of the team. And as a coach, that's probably the thing that you want to address the most. It's is that cohesiveness. So we'll be doing a lot of work on that. And as I said, all being well, we'll see a strong response on Sunday.
You mentioned there might be a couple of bodies on the sideline. Joe Brown, how's he kind of come through? I think you had some concern over a hip injury.
Yeah, Joe should be all right. He's took a bit of a knock there, so we'll carry on assessing that. But he's got a lot better from where it was on Sunday. So fingers crossed for that one.
And any other concerns going into the game on Sunday?
Just a couple of bumps and bruises, but listen, every team gets bumps and bruises. So we'll get through training tonight, and we should have a better picture come tomorrow. Where them lads that are a bit of a doubt are.
And are there players knocking on the door after last week? Brendan Santi, I know, had a week off and kind of rested for selection kind of reasons, but also Matt Walsh hasn't been involved in the squad, and I know that he'd desperately like a run out against his former club as well. Are there players that are knocking on the door after last week?
No, Mac's been injured for 6 weeks, I believe. Mac's not in, well, purely due to that more than anything, and he'd have to wait his chance and earn his shirt. And Brendan, yeah, I went a different route selection wise, and I'm sure he'll be one at first, putting his hand up to say, I want a chance to respond and show you what I can do.
So looking at Toulouse on Saturday, then last season's runners-up, how tough a challenge are they going to be?
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. We know their threats. I think they've got a very strong backfield carrier game. You look at their outside backs, and they definitely get set started well. I think both hookers are a massive threat. They've got some good shape and play through the middle of the field as well. So, yeah, we know where their strengths and weaknesses are, but I think the main thing for us this week is making sure we're at his own straps. And I think the first 5 or 10 games of a year, you need to be focusing on yourself as much as your opposition. And we knew Oldham's threats last week, but if we're not hitting his own straps, it's pointless, isn't it? So I'll be making sure that first and foremost that we have a team that's going out there and hitting the standard that we want to set for York Knights.
And I'm sure you will have watched it as well, but Toulouse suffered an arrow defeat on their opening weekend in the Championship as well, at home to
Yeah,
Widnes. Is
yeah,
there things that you can pick up or things that you've identified from watching that as well?
yeah, yeah. As always, you watch your opposition and you look at a few structures that you maybe could exploit, but I'm also under no illusions that we had 50 put on us, and there'll be a lot of things that they'll be looking at, from our team that they can exploit. So first and foremost, we need to make sure that we're fixing up his own systems and structures, and we're in his own standard where we want to be. So yeah, we're just looking forward. I'm pretty sure that if we could play Toulouse on the Monday or Tuesday after Sunday, everyone would have put their hand up to play, because that's how keen everyone is to get back out on that field. It's never nice when you get a bit of a touch up like that, and yeah, I just expect a strong response from our troops, which I'm sure I'll get.
As you said, you're after that that strong response as well. You
Yeah,
you mentioned last week when we spoke about having a good start to the season. I'm
yeah,
sure you'd be keen for, I guess, this not to kind of roll on and turn into a bad start to the season, quote unquote.
yeah, yeah. I think you've got to put things in perspective as well. You're talking round 1 out of 20 odd. Listen, if you ask me if I'd have liked to have won the game 50 points to 4 instead of losing a game, obviously I'm going to tell you I prefer the win. But at the same time, I'm not going to get too despondent. It's fair to say that we've had his tails handed to us between his legs. So let's see how we respond come Sunday, and then give it another few weeks, and then we'll have a better picture about how we've started.
Last time out when you faced Toulouse was back in August in the south of France. Feels a long time ago, that game, but that was a great win, 20 points to 12, and the first win abroad for some time over Toulouse as
Yeah,
well. Looking back at that game, I know the personnel have changed somewhat, and they've made some released some players and retained some of their squad as well. What can you
yeah.
take from that game and that performance in general into Sunday?
Well, I think you've just answered your own question there. That it's a new team. New year, two new teams. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was great experience, but not a lot. If I'm perfectly honest with you, because I'm focusing more on the 2025 York team, and getting where we want to get. So it were a lovely experience and day, but in that moment in time, but that's all it was. We're under no illusions. Toulouse are going to be a different beast, this year compared to what they were last year, just like we are. So it's a brand new game. As I say, we're mainly focusing on just getting his own standard where it needs to be.
Yeah, thanks, Mark.
No problems at all.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Gabriel.
Uh, just a few questions from me. First of all, on the match on Sunday, were there any disappointments from you with some of the discipline from your side with, the number of penalties being given away, the sin for Ataringano? Was that a disappointment for you?
Well, collectively, yes. I thought as ill discipline cost us. I think we were giving away a lot of penalties, especially on tackles 3, 4, 5. Well, we'd done the hard work, got them trapped in the corner and let them out. So I think collectively as a team, we'll definitely nowhere near where we want to be. So yeah, it's an area we've talked about, getting fixed up. So yeah, it's fair to say that, I wasn't the best pleased with it, shall we say?
And with your team from that, I know you mentioned Conor Bailey had flu and missed out for it. Is he
Yeah.
any closer to a return?
Yeah, he should be okay. Touch wood, he's trained all week. He was just really badly with flu, and we're trying to not spread it throughout camp. I think every team at this stage of the year has got a bit of illness in them. Speaking to fellow coaches, and I think Oldham had a couple of lads that had it. So we're just trying as best to make sure it don't go through camp too much. But it is what it is. If we'd have said to Connor, take a few tablets, to play, I'm sure he would have done. We're just trying to not let the illness spread through the camp, but it is what it is. It's definitely not an excuse for what we served up on Sunday.
Yeah, and two players who haven't been involved yet this season. I know you spoke about Akuma Tai on Sunday about how he's just had some off the field issues, and
Yeah.
Jude Ferreira, well, is still recovering from injury. And are we likely to see any of those two appearing soon for the Knights?
Kuma not this week. Hopefully that's not too far from being sorted. And Jude's been back training fully now for 3 weeks, so he's just about there. So he'll be back in contention, and he's looking well in training. And if he does get his chance, I've got full confidence that he's going to show what he can do. Looking forward to it.
And Toulouse at the weekend as well. Their coach Sylvain Hulls has been there since 2012, a long time now.
Yeah.
Have you had any past meetings with him or any sort of past interactions?
Yeah, I used to play with him at Wakefield. So I know Sylvan well. I think he's a great coach. Obviously been at Toulouse many a year now, and yeah, it's fair to say they've had a bit of a transitional period over this off season as well. So wish Sylvan all the best, just not on Sunday.
And just on that return as well to LNAR as well on Sunday. Obviously, I know you've already played there for the Challenge Cup match against Hull KR, but it's the first league game of the season. Expect to be a good crowd for it as well. Have you got sort of a message for the fans making the trip?
Just as I always say, thank you for your support. I think the York fans are excellent with how vocal they are, and we know we didn't hit as straps last week, and believe me that it's hurting all of us as much as it probably hurt you guys seeing that, and we'll be doing everything we can to rectify it come Sunday. So looking
Brilliant.
forward to seeing everyone down there.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.